Hopefully everybody's in the right class. Always check the first day because people end up in the wrong class, and some of them are shy and don't let me know until half the semester is going, or the quarter, I should say. But so this is a 5 series, weekly, every other week, I should say, class where, unlike other classes, the teaching will be done by people who are experts in the area. So the idea is that we wanted people to have information. And you'll see in the syllabus, there's a list of the speakers. And if you have any questions about the speakers, or you think there'd be some other speakers who also might want to be part of it, please do let me know, and we'll look into that. And as with every class, we need to have an assignment. Now this one's a class for no credit, but the assignment would be for everybody, once you've listened to all the speakers, and we're going to have different views on this topic, is that you participate in a dialogue. And as with anything else, at the university we believe in educating everybody. So that means getting both sides of the situation. And as happens in class, discussions get very heated. And as an instructor, that's my job to step in and try to cool things down. I can also give demerits too. I use them often. I'm Aaron Hegde. I'm an associate professor of economics here. I'm also the director of the Environmental Resource Management Program. And as an economist, nothing works as good as negative incentives, so penalties. We don't believe in carrots, we believe in sticks.
Taser.
No, taser, no. So the format will be, each of the speakers will have about 10 minutes to kind of share their thoughts on the topic. And what I'd ask is if you could hold your questions till later. So this is where you'll have to be like students and take notes. If you have questions, write them down. And at the end of all 4 speakers, then we'll open up the forum for discussion, and we'll have them come up here and discuss. Just an open forum where you can exchange ideas. So that's basically the point. So the 4 speakers we have, I will introduce them. First, we have Supervisor Ray Watson from the 4th District. Then we have Mr. Richard Chapman from the Kern Economic Development Corporation. And we have Dr. Girish Patel, and we have Mr. Jeff Taylor. Maybe I'll let them say a little bit about themselves and how they maybe came to this whole high-speed rail thing. I think, you probably know most of the names anyways, so I don't want to do any disservice by not giving you proper introduction, so I'll let them introduce themselves and specifically how they came to this topic. And each speaker will have about 10 minutes, I'll time you. So just 10 minutes, you'll hear a beep, and that'll be it. So I look forward to a good discussion. So Supervisor Watson, if you want to come up first.
Thank you, Doctor. I've seen the new movie Mission Impossible. Well, our assignment tonight, should we agree to accept it, is to determine how many jobs will be brought to Kern County by high-speed rail. So before we get to that point, what I wanted to do is just review with you some of the notes that I tried to make in an outline form here. And I'm going to read a good part of it just so I don't leave it out, because I think it's important to understand the context that we're playing here, in here with high-speed rail. Dr. Hegde said that you're going to hear from experts today. I will tell you, I am not an expert on high-speed rail. I wouldn't pretend to be. Job estimates are created by economists, like the doctor here. I am not an economist. So the question is, how are these kind of determinations made? Well, the job estimates and all of the estimates of positive and negative impacts of high-speed rail are determined by the federal and state environmental studies prepared by the project applicant and their consultants. They are the ones who put themselves out to be the experts to provide the information that hopefully will allow the applicant to make the right decision when they get the comments from the EIR back and determine what the impacts are and decide what course of action they should take. So in this case, with high-speed rail, the environmental impact reports are done by the High-Speed Rail Authority and their consultants, economists, engineers, environmentalists, and people like that. And there's no question about it. Their job is to advocate for the project. But they're supposed to be somewhat objective, and certainly they're supposed to be honest. They put together a project and describe the impacts that they understand will occur based upon all of the studies and analysis that they do. Then they release a draft document to the public that displays all the information they have and comes to a preliminary conclusion. The public has a limited time to comment on the draft document. They can raise issues, complaints, describe impacts, both negative and positive. And in the county, we do many projects, and we review many environmental impact reports, and we get lots of comments, usually on both sides of the issue. Often the public themselves will hire their own consultants to get into a battle with the project consultants. And that's really good for the consultant business. So you might want to consider that, those of you who are students. The applicant, and again in this case the High-Speed Rail Authority, must respond to the public comments. In this case, one of their responses was to revise their economic analysis, and I'm sure you've seen a lot about that in the press. The project is going to cost more than twice than what they expected it to cost, and they had to revise ridership estimates and fares and a number of different issues. So that was a kind of a preliminary response, even though they haven't responded to the rest of the environmental document and all of the comments that they received there. They have received many negative comments and probably some positive comments. I haven't seen that. Their document itself is 3,300 pages long, and I'm sure that they've got 33,000 letters, if not more, in comments to that document. There are many challenges to their facts and their assumptions. In many cases, the response to the impacts to property owners have been inadequate in terms of letting property owners know what the impacts will be to their properties, and if they are indeed going to be impacted, what the mitigations are, either in terms of payments of money to relocate them or to pay them for properties that have been taken in some form or another, or it could be in the response of a realignment so that the property in question wouldn't be impacted. But at this point, with all of the things that are out there in terms of the responses to the draft document and all of the challenges to the assumptions of the economic plan, there is a question as to whether the authority is going to be able to come up with a viable economic plan that meets the requirements of the Bond Act that would fund it in the first place. That is something that we still have to learn. I don't know the answer to that question yet. And I think the Rail Authority is still trying to figure that out themselves. They have had a couple of changes in the executive director, and so in effect they've got to start over with whatever